Purification, inner development and spiritual advancement through fasting. It was a quiet morning when the young student went to see the master. The sun had just risen and the dew on the leaves glistened like diamonds. The disciple, full of longing and restlessness, approached the master and said, "Master, I want to be like you. I want to reach a high spiritual level, see the world with clear eyes and live in peace with myself. Please show me the way." The master smiled gently and looked at the young man with a look that radiated deep wisdom and kindness. "Everyone has their own path," he finally said. "But there is a practice that has helped me to find myself and strengthen my mind: fasting." The student frowned. "Fasting? That just means going without food. How can that help me grow spiritually?" Single quote. The master nodded slowly. "Fasting is like a key that opens many doors. It begins with the body, but it takes you far beyond that. Let me tell you about it. The body, a temple of purification. First, the master began, fasting cleanses the body. It frees it from toxins and waste that have accumulated over time. The body becomes lighter, the organs can regenerate, and the metabolism becomes balanced. Many people feel their energy increase even though they eat less. Fatigue disappears and the mind awakens." The student listened carefully. "But isn't that just a physical experience? How can that help my mind?" Single quote. The master smiled. "The body and the mind are like two sides of the same coin. When the body is cleansed, the mind also opens. But fasting is more than just a cleansing, it is a school of discipline. The school of discipline, fasting as training for body and mind. When you fast, you learn to control your urges," the master continued. "You learn not to give in to every impulse, but to make conscious choices. This is a great lesson for life. It may be difficult at first, but over time you will notice how your willpower grows. You will learn to endure difficult phases and not make yourself dependent on external circumstances." The student nodded slowly. "I see. It's about controlling yourself, not just your body, but also your thoughts and emotions." "Exactly," the master confirmed. "During fasting, emotional patterns often come to light that we otherwise cover up with food. We can then consciously transform these patterns. It is a path to inner freedom. The mental and spiritual dimension, fasting as a gateway to the soul. But the most important thing, the master said in a low voice, is the mental and spiritual dimension of fasting. When you fast, you consciously go into scarcity. And in that scarcity, you experience the abundance of life in a new way. The mind clears, thoughts quiet, and you feel a deep connection to something greater." The disciple felt a shiver run down his spine. "You mean that fasting brings us closer to God?" Single quote. "Yes," replied the master. "In many religions, fasting is seen as a way to hear the voice of God more clearly. It is a practice of humility and trust. When we fast, we not only cleanse the body but also the soul. We let go of the old and open ourselves to the new. Many people experience an inner rebirth during this time, a deep transformation that changes their lives. Fasting as a universal practice, a bridge between cultures. Fasting is not a new invention, the Master explained. It is an ancient practice found in almost all spiritual traditions. Whether in Islam, Christianity, Buddhism or indigenous cultures, fasting always serves to purify the body, mind and soul, to deepen and to approach the divine. It is a universal tool for expanding consciousness and experiencing life with new clarity. The student thought for a moment. And what about the practical aspects? How do I get started? Quote, "Practice, one step at a time. Start slowly," advised the Master. Intermittent fasting is a good place to begin. You fast for 16 hours and eat only during an 8-hour window. If you want to go deeper, you can also take longer periods of fasting. Listen to your body and be mindful. Some people fast only on water and tea, others eat light soups. The important thing is not to overdo it, but to proceed step by step. The student nodded. And what about the challenges? Won't it be hard to persevere? Quote, "Yes, there will be challenges," the Master admitted. But it is precisely in these moments that you will learn the most. You will realize that the mind is stronger than the body. And if you persevere, you will be rewarded with clarity, energy and a deep sense of aliveness. The essence of fasting, a journey of self-discovery. In the end, the Master concluded, fasting is more than just a physical cleansing. It is a journey to yourself. It leads you from dependence to freedom, from restlessness to stillness, from the material to the spiritual. In the emptiness of the stomach, the fullness of the soul arises. The student felt his heart open. "I will try," he said determinedly. The Master smiled. "Then begin your journey. And don't forget, fasting is not just a sacrifice. It is an invitation to experience life in all its depth." And so the student began his journey, a journey that would lead him not only to a cleansed body, but also to a clear mind and an expanded soul. For in fasting, he found not only renunciation, but the fullness of life itself. I hope you enjoyed the essay. In the description, you will find more information and tips for a good fasting period. Good luck and enjoy.